Hey there, happy coders, and welcome to what I'm going to call part 2 of my processing birthday celebration video series. I don't know how long it's going to go, maybe 3 or 4 parts, depending on how much I can get done in each video, but whatever. Thanks for being here. So I'm just going to kind of dive right in. This weekend, so it's August 20th of 2021. This weekend is Processing's 20th anniversary or 20th birthday. The celebration has been going all month, but this weekend is kind of the focus of it because Processing was created 20 years ago. I don't know if it's today or if it was last week, but whatever. They chose this weekend as the celebration. So if you go to Processing's Twitter, you can see them, having all kinds of activity. And it's really cool. There's a lot of different things. Coding Train did a thing earlier today, so check that out. And there's lots of different things happening. And so I wanted to celebrate in my own little way. And I have this grand scheme. We'll see how far into it I can get. But what I want to do is I want to use processing to create a data visualization of the Stack Overflow questions in the processing tag. That's about as far as I got. I didn't really plan it too far ahead. I don't have much more of a plan than that. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So this video will focus on a specific part of that process because that process is going to probably involve a lot of different things that I need to do. And often some of these steps are kind of hidden. So this video is going to focus on what I'm going to call like massaging the data. So I'm going to get the data from the Stack Overflow API and convert it to a format that's a little easier to work with. I don't know how interesting that's going to be, but most tutorials kind of skip over this part, and I actually think it's kind of an important part to show. So that's my goal here. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Stack Overflow, maybe I should start there. Stack Overflow is a super popular like question and answer site. Oh man, I don't think I've been to Stack Overflow not logged in forever. This is super annoying. Oh my goodness. Whatever. Sure. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, Stack Overflow is a website that you can ask questions and get answers from, and that's kind of the long and short of it. But it's really popular with coders because you can ask questions about a specific language. So let me see if I can find like tags. Yeah, here we go. So let's say I have a question about JavaScript. I would go to the like JavaScript section of Stack Overflow, and I would ask my question and it would show up here and folks would be able to answer me. And what I want to look at is the processing tag. So processing is a programming language or a library. Oh my goodness, so annoying. That is designed to make it easier to to create like creative coding, data visualizations, animations, interactive art pieces, that kind of thing. I really love it. And I actually, for quite some time, was very active on the Stack Overflow processing tag. So this is kind of my like deep dive into processing. This was my like personal journey into getting involved in the community. So anyway, that's kind of my motivation behind this project. So you can see that there are a bunch of like questions about processing, and there are many of them. And what I want to do, my end goal, is to kind of chart these out over time using processing itself. I have no idea if it's going to look interesting or not, but whatever, I'm going to go for it. Okay, so like I said, I didn't really do much more thinking than that. You can probably tell that that's true. But I did do a little tiny bit of research. Basically, I just Googled Stack Overflow API to see if it existed. And turns out that it does indeed exist. And you can kind of read through the like documentation for it. But this gives you sort of programmatic access to the data that Stack Overflow uses behind the scenes. So if you want to get information about questions or answers or users or whatever, there's different ways to access that. So you can click through and get more information. Let's see if I can kind of retrace my steps. So if I go to questions, then yeah, cool. So this is the API endpoint that gives you access to data about questions, and you can read through it, blah, blah, blah. But really what I want to do is tagged. I want processing here. And you can see that it's kind of a handy like UI that's really building the endpoint, which is really just a URL. It's a fancy name for URL. So let me think about this. From date, I want, you know, everything. Page size, I'm just going to use as the default, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, let's just see what this does. So I'm going to run this, and this is going to return, looks like JSON data. And a couple things I want to look at. So it's like, it's an object that has items, which is then an array, which is an array of objects, has tags, processing is in it. And where do I see like a title? So, okay, I need to create a return type function in processing, blah, blah, blah. I'm hoping that this corresponds to something that's over here. So, oh, right here. Okay, cool. So you can see that this data is kind of the data that's used to build the Stack Overflow web page front end here. So, this is a view of the data that I can write code that does something with this data. Okay. The other thing I can do is just click this URL. So I'm going to open this in a new tab, and this gets us a different view. So this is kind of a UI that shows the response, and it's kind of prettified and, you know, syntax highlighted and whatnot. Here's the raw blob that the API gives us. So this is, you know, not super readable, but it doesn't matter because we don't need to read it. We're going to write code that reads it. So what I need to understand here is that if I get the data from this URL, then I get this data here. The other thing that I looked into just a little tiny bit was the idea of paging. So clearly this is not every single question that's ever been posted. This is some limit. I don't know if it's 100 or 50 or what it is. But the way the Stack Overflow API works is that it uses this paging argument. So yeah, okay, it's like 100 page size. Oh, page size defaults to 30. So actually I should probably change that to 100. I'll keep that in mind. But I'll need to use this like page argument, which I actually think that I saw up here. So page 1, you know, page 2, page 3, whatever. I'm going to have to specify this as I go. Okay. I'm also pretty nervous that I'm going to hit some kind of quota. That's a big danger when you're working with an API, especially a public API like this, where I didn't have to log in or provide any credentials. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and we'll see. Okay, so I can specify 100. That seems to be a little bit bigger. Cool. All right. So my goal with this video, I know we're like 15 minutes in, whatever, is to write a processing program that takes this data and just converts it into something easier that I will then use in my next video. So what do I want to do? I want to open up processing, first of all. And this is the fancy new processing version 4.0, which I'm excited to get to use. Is this? This is annoying. No, go away. Go away. Okay, whatever. Okay. What am I doing? I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so I want to fetch this data, and I never remember this, and that's totally fine, because what I can do is go to processing.org, and I can go to their reference. And they just restructured all of this, so I used to be able to just scroll down to exactly where I need. I'm going to have to kind of look for stuff. So if I search for like JSON, and okay, yeah, JSON array and JSON object, that's ringing a bell, but I need to like load it. So I need like load JSON or something, load JSON array, load JSON object. I think I probably want this because it looks like the API is giving me a JSON object. So let's try that. What do you want? You want just a URL. Okay. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close some of this, close you. Okay. So 100, this is the URL I want. Well, actually, I want like the whole thing. It's annoying. Whatever. I'm going to open it again, use up some of my quota. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit a quota limit, but whatever. So I'm going to copy that URL and I'm going to do something like JSON. I never remember the capitalization. What is it? All capital. Okay. JSON object, whatever, top equals load JSON, and I want to give it the URL, and I want to fix any errors that I have. Load JSON. Of course, that's going to happen over and over again because I'm really bad at remembering capitalization. Okay, so I've got top. Okay. And what I think that this should contain is this object should contain all of the data in sort of this, what we've seen rendered in the web page here. Anyway, so what do I care about? I don't even know. So I only really care about items. Let me scroll down to the bottom and see if there's anything else in here. So items is big array. Does it just go to, okay, so the array ends here, and then there's has more, and then down here it shows you quota remaining. Oh man, I've used 17 of 10,000. Okay, cool, good to know. And then there's this has more, which I think will come in handy when I start paging. Okay, so what do I want to do? I want to get the items, I think, first of all. So it's like JSON array. I'm guessing items array equals what? Top.get something. Can I do? So I think I've got JSON object, and I want JSON array. Actually, let me go back to JSON object for a second. I think it's just like get or get array, or yeah, get JSON array, and then a string. Yeah, okay. Get JSON array, and it was called items. So that's my items array. And what I want to do, just to test it, is something like printline items array dot, what do I have? Do I have like get length or get size or something? Get size, get length, something like this. Is it just length? Yeah, I'm just going to give up, and I'm going to go back to the reference. This is a thing I consult all the time. Blah blah blah, get blah blah blah. I just want like the length. Size. Oh, it's just size, not get size. It's just size. Okay. All right, I'm going to save this because I'm going to need to save it eventually. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for now. What am I going to call this? Something like Stack Overflow Data Getter. Whatever. That's the whole thing. I'm bad at naming things, but that's what it does. All right, so what do I expect this to do when I run it? I expect it to get the JSON object. I expect it to get the array of items from that object, and then I expect it to print out the size down here. I'm going to run this and see what happens. Okay. Got an error. Cool. Why? Why you give me an error? JSON object text must begin with open curly brace. I mean, I agree with you, but it does begin with an open curly brace. I wonder. Okay, let me look at this load JSON object function a little more carefully. I kind of made some assumptions. So file name of a file in the data folder or a URL. That should work, I would think. So I'm wondering if if this gives you HTML. That would be so goofy. No, it doesn't. It starts with a curly brace. Did I do something dumb? Get JSON array. So is there a way to like fetch strings or something? Yeah, this is going to get kind of gross. Load strings. All right. This is, oh man. Okay. This is going to be yucky, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this out by saying, first I'm going to like comment all this out, and I'm going to say, ew, gross, lines equals load strings, and I'm going to give it this URL again. I just want to see like what processing thinks this URL contains, or what this URL is returning when I fetch it from processing. Okay, so now I'm doing that, and I'm going to print line, I don't know, lines 0. It's probably like the whole thing, and then maybe I'll print lines.length. It's an array. Okay, and this is just for testing. All right, so let's just run it and see what happens. Oh, well, that's not great. Why? Oh man, okay, that's weird. I don't know what that means. Did I mess something up? Did I not copy it correctly or something? What happens if I put this whole thing back in my browser? No, this works. What the heck? This is so goofy. Also, I'm noticing that my quota is much lower than it was on the website. That's going to be a problem. All right, what the heck? So I think the problem must be with how processing is thinking about this. I wonder. I'm kind of thinking maybe it's the length, but I mean this isn't super long. What if I copy you? What are you actually? Nothing. What the heck? So I'm reading through this. This is still load strings. Load JSON object. So maybe can I do like load JSON? Is there any other thing? Nope. JSON. What else we got? No, none of those are right. Okay, well, this might end up being a short video where I just give up. So the URL itself works, right? And it has multiple. Okay, let's try something. Let's try printing out more than one line. So that's just the first line, and it has apparently 126 lines. So let's say like for, oh man, I've not written Java in a long time. Int I equals 0, I is less than lines.length, I plus plus. And I'm going to print lines I, right? Okay, and I just want to see like what that whole thing looks like. Okay, this is telling me something. These like goofy like characters, I think this is an encoding thing. Yeah, this is an encoding thing. Okay, so like I think we are just disagreeing about how these characters are represented. Okay, I wonder if there's like a encoding argument or something. No. That would have been nice. Encoding. Oh, all files loaded and saved by the processing API. Use UTF-8. Okay, okay. That's a clue. But then what does Stack Overflow API use? Does that not use UTF-8? Is there like a encoding argument? So if I do like Stack Overflow API encoding, can I Google that? Maybe. Is there an encoding information in here? Encode? No, there's not. Is there like a format? No. Is there a UTF? No. Okay. Encoding issue with requesting JSON from Stack Overflow. That sounds familiar. Okay, the content is gzipped. Oh, gross. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So instead of just saying okay over and over again, all right. I think I know what's happening. The API itself is returning the content like zipped, so it's like made to be smaller. My browser here is automatically unzipping it, which I think is just a standard web browser thing. Stack or processing is not smart enough to take a gzipped response and unzip it. So I gotta figure out how to unzip it. Oh man. In Java or in processing. So all I really need to do is fetch the content and then unzip it. Or if it would be better if I could like not request that it not be zipped. Okay, so can I? Oh, this is really annoying. Okay, Stack Overflow API, don't zip. No, don't disable gzip. Maybe disable gzip. Yeah. Nope. This is one of the reasons that this step is usually not shown in videos. It's a lot of Googling and being confused. Serving uncompressed content is lost for all parties. Yeah, fine. But like, I just want it. Oh my god. This is like a pet peeve of mine where like other developers sort of put their opinions, like they force their opinions in the stack itself. So like, yeah, I get it that this is your opinion, but like, you don't know me, you don't know my use case. Okay, so this is getting a little annoying because I think what it means is that I can't just use processing's built-in load JSON object function, which is super annoying. Couple ways I can do this. Let me think about this. I wonder if I could switch over to JavaScript, maybe. That might be how I do it. Use the fetch function. I think the fetch function might automatically unzip it. If it doesn't, that'll be even more annoying, but whatever. But I'd really like to use processing if I can. So let me think about this for a second. Maybe if I do like processing load JSON object gzip. Okay, you know what? There's another way to do this. I'm going to say, I'm going to switch over to Java. So I'm going to say, what is it? What do I want? Java fetch content from URL. URL. And Java, the Oracle docs are generally terrible, but let's see if we have anything. Oh, that's actually not bad. Okay. Okay, this is not terrible. Okay. Let's just check this out. Wait, is there a way? Can I input stream reader? So I need a way to set the header, it sounds like. So set header maybe. Specifically for authorization, I don't care about authorization. I just want to set like a header for what this thing wants. Accept encoding header. So maybe I should just Google that. Oh man. Oh, actually, right here is what I'm looking at. Oh, wait a second. gzip input stream. Is this something that just comes with Java? It does. Okay, so maybe this is actually what I want. So I get a reader. And then just read it in. Okay. That might be the way to do it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal some of this code. So thanks, Reels How To. This looks promising. So steal. Since this is processing, I can write Java in processing and it should work. So what do I want to do? I want to delete some of this stuff and I want to actually switch over to using functions because that's going to make my life a little easier in a minute. So I'm going to say void setup and what the heck, void setup. And that's all I need. And then I want like, I don't know, string get URL content, something like that, whatever. Okay. Yeah, whatever. So I'm going to steal some of this. I need these import statements. Yep. And you probably throw an exception, throws exception. For real code, I wouldn't necessarily do that, but whatever. This is really just like a temporary kind of connecting code that doesn't actually need to survive much longer than this video. All right, so here's my URL. And I want to use that instead of this. So I've got my URL, blah, blah, blah. I should probably have just saved that to a string, doesn't matter. All right, and then what am I doing? I am opening up an URL connection. I don't know why people love short variable names, whatever. Open connection, connection.setRequestProperty. And here's where I actually want the opposite of this, or it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't care. I don't. So let's try deflate here. So this will make it not gzipped. Okay, and then what I want to do, I want to read in the string. I'm going to continue stealing some of this code. While true, you're doing it like character at a time. That's dumb. well, I shouldn't say dumb. This is probably an easier way to do that. So Java convert input stream to string. Yeah. Oh, this is still doing like character by character. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just take it. Ooh, fancy Java 8 stuff. Hang on, let's try this. All right, so new buffered reader, which wants what? What's it want? It wants probably this connection.get input stream. Connection.get input stream. And this, I need an import. Processing, are you smart enough to know how to do that? No. Key, what do I want? Standard car sets. So again, kind of what I'm demonstrating with this video is the sometimes painful process of like jumping around a bunch and things not working and trying to Google stuff and eventually getting there. But collectors, what is that? Java util, I think. Import java.util.collectors. I think that's right. Nope, it's not. Oh man. Oh, java.util.stream. Okay. Just be cool, Java. Just be cool. Okay. So then I can return text. And is there a handy formatter? Auto format. Beautiful. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's check it. So I've got URL, I've got a connection to that URL. I'm telling it not to do that gzip thing. I'm converting into text and I'm returning the text. And I want to maybe just get it here. String text equals, what did I call it? Get URL content. I didn't give it an argument. Yep. Can I say throws exception from setup? Maybe. Nope. Okay, so let me just wrap the whole stupid thing in a try catch. Exception e.print stack trace. Fine. None of this matters. Who cares? All right, print line text. Okay, so I'm hoping that if I hit run, I will see the text printed out here. Let's try. And I sort of do, but I still don't think it's doing that. It's still like gzipped, I think. So annoying. I wonder if this is because this deflate thing is a gzip thing anyway. Where did I see that? All right, whatever. I'm giving up. I'm just going to do it this way. New gzip input stream. So I can wrap my input stream in a gzip input stream. This is why people don't like Java, honestly. Some of this stuff should just magically work, but it doesn't. And why aren't you complaining? Oh, I already imported you. Okay. Let's see if this makes a difference. Ooh, it does. All right, that's cool. So we finally got, we have real content, and it's kind of limited, I think, but it's just cut off, but I think it's working. So I can finally see some of my content here. I'm just going to check on my quota. Okay, so my quota keeps like going back up. I think it's not too bad. Okay, it's probably like per second or something. All right. So I finally have, what do I have? I don't even know anymore. I have the ability to fetch content from the Stack Overflow API. Doesn't seem like much, but it's good enough. I thought I could use this load JSON object function, but I couldn't. So instead, I had to go through this weird rigmarole of doing it manually myself. But it's fine. This is pretty much expected for this kind of thing. Okay, so I've got text, and now what I can do is say JSON object top, whatever, top object equals, and I saw this earlier in the reference. It was like parse JSON object. Are you linked from here? Yeah, parse JSON object, which probably just takes a string. Yeah, okay. So I can say parse JSON object text. And now I can do this. So I'm going to steal you, I'm going to steal you. Do some formatting while I'm here, blah, 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 blah. Don't care about you anymore. Fine, okay. So now I should see it print out the items array size. And it does. Beautiful. Okay, that like 45-minute detour was to get us to the place where I thought we would be at the beginning, but that's fine. All right, what do we want to do next? So far I've fetched the first page of results, and a couple things I could do. I either need to convert a page of results into something more usable, or I need to fetch the rest of the pages. I actually need to do both, but I'm just trying to figure out which part I want to do next. I think I am going to convert this into something that I can use. Okay, so what do I want to do? I want to maybe make a new function that returns a JSON object, and I want to call it like convert JSON, whatever. I'm not very good at naming things, but I'm going to call it like JSON object input. And what I want to do with this is create a new JSON object and only take the things I care about out of the input JSON. Actually, now that I'm thinking about that, is that actually what I want to do? Okay, so this is a good place to maybe stop for a second and talk about what I'm actually trying to do with this video. So the Stack Overflow API gives us this big blob of JSON, and I don't care about most of it. I don't care about the title. I don't care about the link. I don't care about like who posted it. Not for my purposes anyway, because really my end goal is to make like a chart or something. So if I go to Happy Coding and I go to, I don't know, let me find this. So I have like this page that shows like stats of, you know, what I've posted over time. And my goal is to create something like this, but I want to do it in processing instead of using, I think this uses Google Charts. This is a good example. I want something like this at the end. And for that, I need to convert the JSON that the Stack Overflow API is returning into a format that I care about, that I can use to create my chart. And I wonder what that looks like. There's a bunch of different ways that I could do it. There's many ways I could do it. And like if you're thinking about making the same kind of project, I honestly, like, I think you should take a minute and think about how you would do it, how you think about it. But to me, this looks kind of like an array of counts. So for each like point on the x-axis, I have a y value, which is like the count of how many how many posts we have. Although it's not just an array, because I need like the dates. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I think that really the only thing I care about is the date, right? The date that the question was posted. So I think I can have that creation date. So I really only care about creation date. So what if I have an array of creation dates? Would that work? Then I could sort that, and yeah. In fact, I think I can probably get it sorted from the API. So if I order this by ascending, then it's going to give me the oldest one first, I bet. So when were you posted? This is the very first, actually sort by creation. Okay. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm just looking at the API to see like if it can do a lot of the work for me for like sorting and whatnot. Okay, so what I'm hoping is that this is like the oldest processing question. And it was posted in 2008, so yeah, it probably is. So congratulations, Josh Sandlin. You were the first person to post a processing question on Stack Overflow. Who answered you? Was it? I can probably guess. I don't know. I don't know this person. I do know this person. Okay. Anyway. Cool. So I've got my API response sorted the way that I want it to. My phone is giving me a spam call. Sorry. Okay. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. So what I actually want to do is return. Do I want to return an array? Sure. An array? Maybe an array list, just to make it a little easier. Sure. Let's return an array list. Of what? Probably integers, I think. It's a little goofy, but whatever. I don't care about performance or anything like that. So I'm just going to do whatever's easiest. Because if I wasn't showing this code to you, no one would ever see this code other than me. And I probably would never look at it ever again because my whole goal here is just to convert some data. So it doesn't matter. If I want to use an array or an array list or whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I want to convert this JSON object. Actually, I want to convert a JSON array because I can get the array. So items. So I'm going to convert items into an array list of basically dates, but they're integers here. Or maybe they're longs. Whatever. Let's just go with integer for now. Sure. Whatever. And what do I want to do? So first of all, I want to create my array list integer list equals new array list. And then what do I want to do? I want to loop over my JSON array. And if I go to the processing reference for JSON array, I actually think I'm back one. Nope, never mind. JSON array. Here. I wonder if there's a smart way to do it. Whatever. I'll just use a regular old for loop. Okay, that's fine. So I can do for int I equals 0, I is less than list dot size function we learned earlier, I plus plus. And what do I want to do? I want to get the date. So I can say int date equals input dot get JSON object I dot get integer probably. And then what do they call it? Creation, or yeah, creation date. I need to check all that in a second. Did it get int? Yeah, it's get int. Okay. So creation date, is that right? If I go back to here, creation underscore date, yep. And get JSON object, sure. And then I can say what? I can say list.add date. Okay. Can I do Control T? Cool. And then I just want to return my list. Return list. Okay. So I've got my array. of creation dates from my JSON array. And what I can do is here, I can say array list integer list whatever equals convert JSON, and I'm going to say items array here. Convert JSON is a dumb name, so maybe I'll rename that so like convert JSON array to dates, whatever. I don't know if that's a better name. Could have said like convert. It doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. And then what do I want to do? I want to print line the for int I in list. Can that work? Print line I, and just to make that a little more clear, I'm going to say date. So these are dates. And what else do I want to do? I wanted to use the fancy new URL that I got when I did the like ascending thing. So can I copy the whole thing? Hey, can I copy you? There should be like a copy button. Okay, and where do I have that URL buried? I have that buried down here. Blah, blah, blah. What do you start with? You start with 2.3, you start with a slash, okay. All right. Okay, so now they're in order from oldest to newest. I'm still just fetching the first page, but that's okay. And let me just run this to see what breaks. Yeah. Okay. Something did not work the way I thought it would. Did I not add them or something? Let's not add date. Okay. So this is still, this did not print at all. So can I say like list dot, is it just size? That's not right, is it? I guess it is, okay. You're probably 0, I guess, judging from what didn't print out. Yeah, okay, so you're 0. What did I do wrong? Oh. So I did list.size instead of input.size. Silly. Okay, let's try it again. All right, okay, we are getting date looking numbers, and I'm betting that 7598 corresponds to the date of the first post in here, 7598. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so I've got my, what do I got? I've got my array or array list of dates from the first page of results. Okay, now what do I need? I need to fetch new more pages. I'm also thinking at the same time whether I want this to be an array list or if I want it to be like a JSON array. Either one will work, but what I eventually want to do is read this into a new program, and I think that maybe the easiest way to do that is with a JSON array. So can I just create a JSON array and then say like add or something? I can say set int with the new size. Oh, append right here. Append. What do you take? You take pretty much anything. Okay. It's kind of formatted a little weird. Is this just one of these, or is this like all of them? I guess we'll find out. So what do I want to do? Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I know I'm going back and forth and I'm getting a little scrambly brain, but I'm thinking ahead a little bit, so I'm going to stop doing that. But all right, so back to my but my next goal was to fetch the next page. So I've got my JSON object, my top, and okay. I think I want to extract some of this, or at least move it around a little bit. So I'm going to say, first off, I need to create like a big list. So I'm going to say, I'm going to rename this like page list, and I'm going to create a new array list of, and actually this is where I'm going to create my array. So I'm going to say JSON array dates equals new JSON array. Will that work? Yes. And then down here, what I want is like dates.append date. So many different ways I could do this, but whatever. This will work. So actually here, what I want to do is like dates.size just to confirm that this is working how I expect it to. So I'm converting my JSON blob into an array list, and then I'm converting I'm adding my array list to this JSON array object. All right, let's just see. Dates.size is still 100. All right, cool. And now what I want to do, so I've got my text, I've got my JSON object. Maybe what I want to do is JSON object. Actually, that's already top. So here we go. Maybe what I'll do is have like a Boolean has more, and I'll set it to true at first. A bunch of different ways I can do this too, but has more. So while has more, what do I want to do? I want to do basically this. I want to get the URL content. I want to get the object from that, parse the object, get the array, convert it to dates, and then add those dates to my object. The only thing I need to change here is I need to get the URL content for the current page. So I'll have int current page equals, and here's a question. What is the first page? Is first page 1 or is first page 0? And does it matter? So if I do 0 here, does this break? Oh, cool. Okay, it does. And if I do 1, then that's the default. And if I go back here, I see Josh's question about colors. Okay, so we're back to basics. So this is 1, and what does that look like? It's probably just and. Yeah, page equals blah. Okay. So current page, I'm going to feed that into get URL content, get URL content current page, and then down here, I'll just say like current page plus plus. And I know I'm doing kind of a lot, but all of this is stuff that I've kind of seen as I've been poking around in this response. So I have this has more function. So I can say has more equals what? Top dot get boolean has more. Yeah. So we're going to keep fetching new pages until has more is false, which I think is how the Stack Overflow API tells us that, you know, there's no more pages. And here's what I'll do. I'll maybe add a print line, fetching page, and just say like plus current page. I actually don't know how many pages there are. I'll look at that in a second. But get URL content needs current page. Get URL content into current page. And what do I want to do here? This is kind of yucky, but maybe I'll build my URL a little differently. So string URL equals blah, blah, blah. This whole thing. Oh, actually, this is kind of goofy. I can do it pretty easily. Whatever, I'm going to do it this way. Maybe instead of URL, I'll call it whatever. Okay. So if I had more arguments to send in here, this would probably make a little bit more sense, but for now, this is fine. And then href plus equals, what is it, ampersand page equals plus current page. Something like that. I think these are just query parameters. Yeah, they are. Okay. All right, so now my get URL content takes a parameter of current page. I use that in the in the URL here. I still fetch the page of JSON, and then I return that back up here. I loop while has more. I print something out, and then I do exactly what we already did before, and I stop when top.getBoolean has more is false. Okay, so this is where I'm going to run out of quota. So let's see, this has been a lot. Let me just think about this for a second. So one thing I did look at kind of ahead of time is there's a way to get the total number, and it's 6,265. Actually, I bet if I go here, yeah, 6,265. I could have just looked here. So there's a total of 6,265 questions. We're fetching them 100 at a time. So I need to fetch, what, 62 pages? Is that right? Yeah, I need to fetch about 62 pages. And I don't know how much quota I have. I don't know if that's going to run out of quota, but I guess we'll find out. So all I'm doing right now is printing the size, and I think that's okay. I'm fetching the pages. I don't know how long it takes. All right, you know what? I'm just going to run it. I'm kind of lollygagging here. Let me just run it and see what happens. Okay, so it's relatively fast, and that's cool. Oh, nice. So 63 pages, and the total at the bottom, dates.size, is 6265, which is exactly what I would expect from here, 6265. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that worked much better than I thought it would. And so really the only thing I need to do next is save the JSON array. So I think I can say like let me just look it up. I'm going to just get it horribly wrong. So if I do like save store JSON, like save JSON array, and it takes the JSON array and a file name. Okay. So save JSON array, what did I call it? Dates. And I will call it something like processing questions.json, something like that, whatever. Okay. And do I need to do anything else? I don't. That's funny. Like I spent like 45 minutes just trying to get the freaking URL encoding properly, figured out, and then as soon as that's done, it's like 5 lines of code to just output everything. That's silly. Anyway, what am I doing? Let's check that worked, and I have processing questions.json, and I can open that with a text editor, and oh cool, it's just like nicely formatted already. Cool. So this is the date in like Unix format of every single processing question that's ever been posted to Stack Overflow, and that's all I wanted to do, really. So now I can take this file and actually use it, but that's going to be my next video. I'm trying to think a little bit right now. Is there anything else I want to do? So I kind of had this vague idea that I would also show like P5.js questions in the same graph. That's kind of a stretch goal of mine. But if I want to do that, then I'll need to prepare that data as well. I could just create another file, switch over to p5.js tag and create that file. So let me just give an example of what I'm talking about. So I kind of want to create a chart like this. Where it's like processing and P5, and see like how P5 kind of grew along with processing. So how would I do that? How would I represent that data? Right now, I just have an array of dates, which are like the processing dates. And what I could do is for each date, calculate the X value by how far between like the oldest date and today's date we are. And that's my X value. And then my Y value is just like just increment by 1, basically. And I guess I could do the same exact thing with P5, right? Yeah. I could. Okay, cool. So I think that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this exact same code, and I'm going to change 2 things. I am going to change this to p5.js. I think it's just p5.js without any dot, or maybe it does have a dot. Oh, it does have a dot. Oh, this is so annoying. Yeah, no p5.js. It's a p5.js is what it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So p5, tagged p5.js. And then the only other thing I need to do is change this file name, p5 questions. I'm tempted to clean up this code a little bit, but I don't know if I'm ever going to actually post this code. Who cares? Hit run, see what happens. That should be on a t-shirt. Hit run and see what breaks. Okay, so I've got my P5 post. There's fewer of those because P5 is quite a bit newer. And if I go here, I see I've got P5 questions .json, and there we go. And out of curiosity, when is this? So I convert Unix date converter, whatever. I'm just sanity checking, even though I'm pretty positive this will work fine. 2014. Okay, so the first P5 question was posted in 2014. Cool. It seems relatively reasonable. Okay, so I think I'm just about done. If you've watched this far, thanks for sticking with me. I know that the path was windy, but that was kind of my goal with this video, is to show this kind of missing step of massaging the data. Again, the reason I did this is because I didn't want to work with this big mess of data, and using the API directly in my actual visualization will very likely run out of quota. And so to save myself both the trouble of parsing through this complicated response and from running out of quota, I have vastly simplified the data I'm looking at, and now I can go directly to these files, which are both easier to read and have no quota. I can read from these files as much as I want. In fact, I'll really only have to read from them once, because whatever, that's just the whole thing. There's no paging here. It's just here's every single post. Anyway, so I've massaged the data. So from here, what I'm going to do is part 3 of this happy birthday processing video series, which will be actually using the data to create a data visualization. But if you are watching this video and you have other ideas, you can peruse the Stack Overflow API. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. I just got all of the questions, but you could do a bunch of other things. You could look at, the scores, the answers to the questions, the like who is posting what, and that kind of thing. So there's a bunch of different types of data that you can play with within this API. But really, I mean, more importantly than this API, hopefully what I've demonstrated is the process of taking an API, whatever that API is, whether it's Stack Overflow or something else, and massaging the data to be easier to work with. And while I'm rambling, I guess maybe what I'll mention is that I have done this myself many times. So if you scroll down here, so the homepage of Happy Coding currently shows these like links to some Etsy things I've done, and this was created using the Etsy API, which is very similar to the Stack Overflow API in that it gives you a bunch of JSON data. But I didn't use the JSON API directly. I first wrote a kind of massaging program that converted the data into a format that's easier to use. And I actually think it's up on GitHub. I'm not logged in. GitHub.com/KevinWorkman/ is it Happy Coding, like that? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's in here. So yeah, Etsy. So I created this file in the same exact way that I just created these JSON files. I wrote a processing program that took the JSON from the actual API and just output something else. So this is a lot easier to work with than what Etsy gives me. Where else have I used this? I also used this in, if I go here, in this program. So this run data is from my running app, from Zombies Run, and the format they give it to you is it contains a lot of extra information that I didn't really want to deal with. So again, I wrote a processing program that took the actual API and took only the parts I cared about and output a different file. So this whole map runs on a JSON file that I created using the API, using processing. So these are some real world applications of the process that I just showed you of writing a processing program and using the API to massage the data into something a little bit more reasonable. And this is a big part of like bigger programs. So a lot of folks think that coding is you start with a goal and you just sit down and you write some code that accomplishes that goal. It's often multiple steps, and it's often like multiple languages, multiple like different frameworks, different like goals. So I haven't written anything that actually visualizes any data here because I wasn't ready for it. I needed to do this step first. And like I've said a couple times now, a lot of tutorials and videos skip over this step. And I know it probably didn't make for the most interesting video of all time, but I think demonstrating it is kind of an important piece of the puzzle. Anyway, so I think I want to close by stalking down a quote that I really loved the other day, and I maybe should have prepared this a little bit better. Can I search for you without having to log in? I can. Yeah, it's actually right here. So I think it's this thread. So Ben Fry is one of the original creators of processing, and as part of this month's like birthday celebrations, I think he's been kind of like looking at some older projects, but this thread really resonated with me because he said something here, this sentence here, that processing is intended to be one tool in a larger process, a means, not an end in itself. And that's exactly how I see it. this video is not my end goal. I didn't sit down on my Friday night with the end goal of, oh man, I really love converting JSON into an array. My end goal is actually to write a program that shows some interesting data visualization. But to get there, I needed to go through this middle step. And so that's like built into the DNA of processing itself, which I think is a cool little, I don't know, microcosm of what we're all celebrating here, of the vision that processing was created with. And I think there's something really cool about using that vision to like achieve that vision, if that makes sense. So like I'm using processing to do exactly that around processing. So I don't know, there's probably a smarter way to explain why this is so cool to me, but for now I think I'm happy with where we ended. And so I'm going to again say happy birthday processing, and when I post this I'm going to post all of the videos at once. So if you're watching this and you want to keep trucking, then I'll post a link to the next step, which will be using this data to actually create the data visualization. But for now, I will say thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, of course, happy coding.